Hello and welcome back to Honest Horsemanship. Today we're gonna be out here in a round pen. I've got a 40-foot horse rope, and this is a weanling colt here. And we've got that rope around his right hind leg. It's up there kind of on his cannon bone. And we're gonna work on kind of using the feet to get to the mind today. And so, an interesting thing to me is that, these horses, they have to figure out that you're relevant. And here you see he's not figured out I'm too relevant here. I've got this horse rope on him here. I'm going to move him around here a little bit. And I go to pick up on that rope just as the foot starts to come up off the ground. And you'll see there's be some resistance, and he stops and he's looking off to the outside out there and still kind of wanting to play in that play mode. And class is in session, so I'm going to move him around here a little bit here, and I'll wait till he kind of slows down there and pick up on that rope. And what I'm looking for is not what that leg that I have the rope on is doing, but I'm looking at what the other three legs are doing. So right there he stops. And I'm just going to kind of pause here and let him figure out that we're getting closer to me being relevant here. So he's still kind of looking off. He looks at me there. So we'll let him kind of walk off there. Notice he's looking at that little filly across the way there, running around quite a bit. So I can still tell he's not with me mentally. So I'm not relevant. I'm not on the radar. So I believe that horses have a rolling priority list. And whether it's self-preservation, whether it's play, whether it's curiosity, suspicion, all them kind of things, I've got to be relevant. So I come in here, firm up on him, move him back over to the right here. And so we're working on being relevant first, and then class comes in secondary. So there I pick up on the rope, he stops, he acknowledges me. So we're getting a little bit closer. And again, this is all incremental. I'm just picking this up here and there. I'm not trying to overdo things here at all, or to flood him with anything, but I want to be relevant for just a few moments, and we can work on that. So he stops, and notice the other 3 feet, they're not going anywhere. So he's a little agitated by that rope on his leg there, but I don't make a big deal out of it. So we get stopped here, and I let him think about that. Notice he kind of checks me out here. I step in here, and what I'd like to see is him kind of walk off here. And I really believe that getting into a horse's mind, when you have a horse with you mentally, boy, you can just do about anything you want to do on him. And so it really is important to me that right from the get-go, teaching these horses that I can guide and direct their feet, and all those things we talk about, trust and confidence and all them things, relationships and all that kind of stuff. I really believe this is where it starts at. So I've got to kind of make an impression here. And all I'm doing is asking to guide the feet. Now I see that filly over there. She's kind of running around over there, and I have his attention here. I'm more relevant, and which is really a super important deal here. And we're talking a weanling here, And so again, the level of expectation is here. I'd like him to acknowledge I'm here. And that's what we're going to start on, and that start will continue for the rest of his life. So I move him up there, and I pick up on that rope just as that leg is coming off the ground, so I can redirect it and guide it. Notice I've got a little something more here. And that filly is still running around over there. And I like to start with the hind legs because the fact that I feel like a horse really, that's everything for a horse. You know, that's the hindquarters and them hind legs back there. Boy, if they didn't have them, they couldn't go forward, they couldn't go backwards, they couldn't go right, they couldn't go left. And it seems to me like by putting a rope on their hind legs first and getting so that's kind of worked out pretty good. Then when you go to the front feet, boy, it sure seems like, you know, you really kind of come in there and they just seem like they get it so much faster when they're working on that area where they're a little more concerned and worried about with the hindquarters. So, and again, you know, we're doing this because we want to get to the mind. It's a mental aspect. So I got this rope on a front foot here, and I'm going to step out in front of him here, and I'll kind of change angles sometimes. Sometimes I'll step off to the side or to the front of him there. But again, I just kind of want to be relevant, and then the lesson starts. So I sit here and let him hang out here. I'll pick up on that. I'm looking for him to yield and for that weight to change. And as I do that, I'm just going to kind of set that rope out or that leg out in front of him there and wait for him to shift his weight. This is a big baby and he's going to really be big. So it is so important that when I ask, you know, for a foot to make a change in the weight distribution, boy, it's going to be a big deal. You know, this baby get to be 2 or 3, and it's really going to be a big deal. So right there's a little resistance to that. And he says, boy, I'm not quite sure. So I give him a break and let him process that. Notice how he leans back, and then, oh my gosh, we get a change right there. So as I get that change, wow, really, it's totally exceeded my expectation right here. So I'm going to come in here and take this leg rope off, and you know, the thing about making them impressions is you don't have really any more time to make the best impression than say in the first impression. So I'm going to come over here and go back to this left leg. Now I like to start on the right for sure with all these things I do because I feel like a horse gets plenty of that left-sided stuff throughout his life. So I'm going to figure how much carryover is from one side of his brain to the other. So I'm going to kind of wait here for a minute. I'm going to pick up on my rope. And I'm looking for a change here mentally. So there's a little resistance there. Change in the weight right there. I can see there was a slight change in the weight, and look that he's validating that through how he's working his mouth right there. So I'll wait on him here. Oh, there, wow, what a cool change right there. Really cool. Let him reach back there and scratch that leg. I'll just kind of hang out here. So, you know, the efficiency of working on a few things at one time is really such a great benefit, because we're not only working on what you see here physically, but really the mental component is the best deal. Thank you so much.